and welcome to tonight's live stream. It's Identico After Dark, coming to you live right now on Twitch and YouTube. We're simulcasting across the world. So, follow us on your platform of choice now. So you can have the purple brand, the purple snakes, or you can have the red brand. It doesn't matter.
There you go.
We're here. Some of us are queer. And queer as Florida is tonight, apparently. There you go. It's very queer. We're going to start off straight away because Alex has a bone to pick with the state of Florida. So I'm just going to open up the floor. I'm going to start our background music. I'm going to open up the floor and let Alex talk about... I can't use the exact words he sent me in the text message this morning. But I'm just going to let him talk about Florida to get us started. Then we'll get into the rest of the show.
Let me explain this to you, Governor.
You need Rage Red.
Yeah. Let me explain this, Governor DeSantis. Okay, you're not going to beat the mouse. Okay, Disney has more money than Florida. They just have more money than you, and they don't care. And you can get away with this crap when it was Bob Chapek, because Chapek was kind of a pansy. And quite frankly, I think Chapek was probably a hidden MAGA hat wearing fool.
Wow.
Right? And why they... that's right. I said it.
Okay.
You mess with Big Papa Iger in the mouth now. Okay. Iger don't play. Okay. He just doesn't. Okay. Look at the boards that he's on. Look at the connections that this guy has. This is gonna mess with you forever. And here's the thing. It's not going to help you. You're fighting this fight because you're on this whole, stop woke weird shit where woke goes to die in Florida. And all they're doing is thumbing their nose at you. And hell, even your buddy Trump is telling you you're an idiot. Okay? This isn't going to get you any votes. This isn't going to get you elected president. This is going to get one of the largest corporations on the planet to hate you and do everything they can to destroy you. Now they are holding, and by the way, I love this, and hats off to Disney. Disney is now holding the largest LGBTQ plus conference in the country.
Which was my queer comment earlier, because...
In Florida.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you don't like that? Hey, LGBTQ people, let's show them, okay? You're not putting the genie back in the bottle, okay? You're not unfucking Pandora's box. You just can't fucking do it. Okay? You're not going to do it. Sorry. You're going to lose this fight, DeSantis. Even with those bought out chodes on the Supreme Court, which, by the way, should scare you even more. Okay? Because if there's one thing that the heavily purchased people on the Supreme Court, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go Google what's going on with Clarence Thomas right now.
I can't begin to describe what that name means in many circles.
Money has bought that. They have given corporations so much power. Now, am I, as a general rule of thumb, a fan of corporations being able to govern large swaths of land in sovereign territory? No. They should never have had the Reedy Creek District. It should never have been allowed. But guess what? It was. And it was your party, that gave corporations all this power. And now you're mad, you're butthurt, because you gave all these corporations this power. The Republicans were like, here, have some power. We like you, corporations. We love you. Yeah, here's the power. And now that those corporations are using that power that your party granted them to stand up for marginalized people and say, hey, look, we're not doing this don't say gay shit. Guess what? You're screwed. Because guess what? Corporations are people. Y'all made sure that happened. Thank you, Citizens United. Right?
Corporations are people.
Corporations are people. They have freedom of speech. Guess what? Everything you're doing is retaliatory. It just is. And so you're screwed.
For those of you who don't have any clue what Alex is talking about, this morning, the journalist will now sit in the room. this morning, Disney filed a lawsuit, a 77-page lawsuit, immediately after the new board voted to strip Disney of their provincial authority over the Magic Kingdom in the Reedy Creek district. They filed a 77-page lawsuit, and basically finished it on the last page with a photographed copy of Bob Iger's middle finger, and said, "Screw you, let's have some fun." That was the basically a way of saying, like, you screwed up, you done Aaron. And so the fight is basically happening where DeSantis essentially in his goons, because that's essentially what this whole new board is, basically want to strip Disney of all of their ability to govern themselves over this area, and there's a lot of financial issues that will come about because of this and things like that. And Disney basically has enough lawyers to fill the state of Florida, and basically said, "Oh no, we got you." My favorite portion out of the NPR article this morning was, in response to the lawsuit, DeSantis' communications director, Taryn Finsk, said, "We are unaware of any legal right that a company has to operate its own government or maintain special privileges not held by other businesses in the state. I'm sorry, but your state was the one that established that whole thing. Good job, y'all were the first to arrive at that whole thing." Yeah. So
you did this.
You done messed up. and
now,
just to say, we're living in this quote unquote fucked timeline when the corporations are going to war with the fascists, and we have to side with the corporation because the other side of it's even worse. I just put that out there.
Again, Iger's not messing around. Okay? And there's too much money locked up in Disney World. By the way, did you see where Disney World's attendance is right now?
It's, well, I mean, it's getting to be the summer months and spring break and everything like that.
It is,
you know.
But their year over year,
yeah,
is down.
It's expensive to go to Disney World.
But I'm saying, like, hang on, I'm double checking. 20% below pre-pandemic levels. They lost 28%. 20%.
That's because a lot of the people that went to Disney World didn't know that they were surrounded by gay people.
Uh-oh.
I said it. And then when they figured it out, they were like clutching pearls. Yeah.
This was the wrong fight to pick. And it goes to this, and this is the deal. Look, y'all, I don't even know what y'all are thinking right now. Are you trying to lose elections? I mean, feel free, but you have become so radical that they were empowered to become so radicalized that now they are. Y'all aren't having a good time, and there's people in your own party trying to sound the alarm and be like, "Hey, we're screwing up right now."
Well, I mean, when Grandpa is running for re-election at this point, it's all but in the bag. Like, there's nobody in the Republican Party that's going to be able to step up, including Trump himself, and actually take down Biden.
And the fact of the matter is that Trump's going to win the primary. Trump's going to win the primary.
If he's not in jail.
Yeah. DeSantis ain't got a shot. He ain't got a shot. Not a chance in the world. Right? Like, legit, the most truthful thing Donald Trump ever said in his political career since he started running for president was, "I could shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and gain support."
True. Sadly.
And he's right. He's absolutely right. DeSantis, you have no shot.
Well, and DeSantis is a stick in the mud compared to
And don't get me started on those idiots from South Carolina who think they're going to run against Trump and win.
Well, you know, Tim Scott, he's a special kind of boy. So is what's her face?
Nikki Haley.
Yeah, they're both special kind of people. I know because I used to cover politics in that state. So I've had to be around them a lot. It's good for trying, I guess. You know, good to see the old homeland trying to show up and stuff like that. But no, sorry, y'all don't have a snowball's chance in hell. because your party is too radicalized, not caring, and too out of touch with what actual people need, which is the saddest part of all of it, is while a lot of these things continue to happen, and it's a nerd slap fight between Disney and a fascist. I'm getting there. I sent you when you were like, I want to talk about this today, I sent you the gif of Seinfeld where they're just sitting there doing this at each other. Like, that's what this is. It's two people with a lot of money to burn, not give a crap about anybody else, just to thump their chest and look, like look like they can do anything, right? Yep. Meanwhile, the people who are actually in Florida and require jobs and require things like, I don't know, safety nets and, trans kids who need to get protected and, like, families who just want to fucking live, are stuck in the middle of a political battle for no reason whatsoever. And that's the problem with a lot of this kind of stuff is, it's just a lot of political, pandering and everything like that. And it's really kind of a waste of a lot of time and money when that money can be spent a lot better in taking care of, I don't know, humans.
I really don't understand what this sudden, like, I understand on an intellectual level what their political theory is behind doing this, but it has been a long time since I have seen such a concerted effort by one of the two major political parties to just demonize a group of people. I mean, it's been a long time since like this level.
Well, they moved on from same-sex marriages because they lost that.
But even in the same-sex marriage, because you and I are old enough to remember that, they didn't go down this whole groomer route during the end of that, like during the Bush years and things like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah, they did.
Not as much, not like this.
Well, the entire party through social media and things like this are completely and utter radicalized. Which, by the way, I feel so bad for Tucker Carlson today. Must feel good to not have to be on the air,
F that guy too.
Yeah, fuck him and every horse he's ever rode in on. I think when you look at the textbook definition of poser, given all the text messages and behind the scenes things and stuff like that. Knowing full and hell well he hates Trump, he hates a lot of the conservative shit that he spouts. He just wants to get paid millions of dollars. That's the thing. You got a bunch of people out there who are just thumping their chest wanting to just make a bunch of money. They're called grifters. That's all they're doing. And it's unfortunate that all of the people that believe this shit,
and more so the people that are hurting.
Absolutely. And it is insane to me.
All right. Speaking of insane things. Hey, Wizards, can we have a talk?
Oh, we're going to Wizards. Cool. Let's piss them off too. Shit, why not?
Let's get the anger out now.
No, this whole show's anger. This whole show's nothing but anger.
I don't know. I'm not angry about the whole Microsoft Blizzard thingy, so
no, I'm just gonna shit on the Flash for the last 20 minutes.
Okay. Wizards, what you doing? What you doing?
They like to play special with the Pinkertons.
So, again, for those that haven't caught up on the stories, Wizards sent Pinkertons to a Magic YouTuber's house over the weekend to recover some March of the Machine Aftermath cards, which weren't supposed to be released yet, and aren't supposed to come out for another, 18 days, because he streamed some pack openings, and they sent Pinkertons, and apparently they scared the crap out of his wife.
Well, yeah, when dudes in black suits show up, yeah.
Come on.
The thing that is interesting about it too is they never show up at the house where they get shot at in America. We've had a lot of stupid stuff like that been happening lately, and you never show up in the South where there's the crazy uncle on the porch with a shotgun or something like that. It's so weird.
So, and this again is a problem of your own making. The cards weren't stolen, they're bought because you guys have no control over your distribution networks. None. Which is why the FLGSs are hurting, because you guys let the distributors run this out and sell it to any goofball with an online storefront who's operating out of a, used store at place and is willing to flip cards for $5 a thing. When you allow those people to be your distribution networks, guess what? This is what's going to happen.
And this guy, the thing that's
it's your own damn fault.
The thing that is so weird about this particular thing, and Wizards has said that they've never They strongly refute this depiction of the events and contradicts both the report of the investigation as well as the conversation between the individual and Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, I didn't see that statement. They finally released a statement.
They released a statement. Under no circumstances would we instruct any employee or contracted agency to intimidate an individual. Bullshit. That's why you hire the Pinkertons is for intimidation. Otherwise, you just show up at their house yourselves.
No, you send a fucking email.
Right. You send a cease and desist. You send an email. You do an investigation. You don't send a Pinkerton to somebody's fucking house.
I used to work with Pinkertons. Okay. I did not work for Pinkerton Security Services, but I've worked with them at the last position I held prior to coming to Gamers Heaven. They are well aware, the Pinkertons are well aware of what their own reputation is.
I'm under the understanding that they're very much okay with it too.
It depends on who you talk to. Here's the thing though. Wizards knows who they're sending. You did not need to send any investigators.
No.
Here's what you could have done. Here's what you do when you are the head of global security at Wizards of the Coast. Because what happens, and I will break this down because having been in these rooms and these meetings, I can tell you exactly what's happened. Somebody in the promo team and the PR team for Magic saw the YouTube stream, right? They saw the pack opening, and they went, "Crap!
No,
where did these cards get out?"
You're already wrong. They did not see it. Somebody sent it to them,
or somebody sent it
because they're not paying that much attention.
They got into the building and they went, "Crap!" And we can. I speculate they're going, "Oh crap!" because this Aftermath set is pretty lackluster, and I think it's going to bomb pretty bad. All that to say, they went to security and they went to the head of global security and they said, "Hey, are these stolen? How did they get out? The street date's not for weeks."
Yeah.
And they went, "I don't know. I will find out." And then because Wizards does not maintain an internal security team, they go to their contract team, which is Pinkertons. There are a lot of corporations.
Actually, their contract security team doesn't have to always, like, there's a few levels in that security team. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Y'all went to the boss level.
There is a lot of companies.
Y'all skipped World 1-1 and 1-2 and went straight to 8-1 and fought Bowser.
There are a lot of companies that use Pinkerton as contract security teams and contract intelligence teams. Many of them. They went to their contract. Now, here's the thing. If you're the head of global security, what you should have done is first started with an email or a phone call.
Yeah.
You go to Pinkerton and you go, "Hey, I need this guy's number."
Yeah.
And then you call him because he's going to be excited. And you go, "Hey, this is Jim Bob." Right?
Yeah.
"This is Jim Bob over at Wizards. Can we have a conversation? Hey, here's what I need to do. Do you still have the boxes and the packs? Because the distribution marks on the boxes will tell them what lot it came from, and they will be able to trace them that way." And the guy will go, "Yeah, I still have the box because I put the cards back in there because I got to store them." "Okay, cool. Can you take a picture of that for me and send it? And also, you didn't steal this, did you? Right? No?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You bought them? Cool. We understand. They shouldn't have sold them to you."
Yeah.
Okay? I don't have these cards yet. I am a WPN store, and I do not have these cards yet. They have not been sent to me.
We'll see how long as much critique we're doing of WotC tonight.
I don't have them. Okay? It was a distribution error. Why? Because you have people in the distribution who hook their buddies up. Because you opened up your distribution channels, Wizards. You did this.
Yes.
A phone call, an email, a comment on the guy's YouTube video, a tweet. Anything. There's a million ways to get a hold of somebody and be like, "Hey, let's jump on a Zoom real quick so we can have a conversation."
Yeah.
Before you dispatch guys to somebody's house on a weekend.
And that's the thing that I don't seem to understand is, I don't know how many boxes it was. Do you remember?
23.
23 boxes?
He bought 23 boxes. Okay. Cost him about $4,000.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny too, because the guy's last name I think is Cannon or something like that on there, and he's quoted in a Gizmodo article that basically is like a simple email or phone call from Wizards of the Coast, and I would have cooperated. There's absolutely no need to send a notorious agency to my house, like it's one of those things where like the secondary market and things like that for Magic is already what it is. So it's not really about the fact that like those cards were out there ahead of time and that people were looking at them and stuff like that. It's kind of gets down to a little bit of the stuff of like, why did you have to, a cease and desist on the, like you could have done a cease and desist on the stream. So it couldn't be up on their YouTube channel and it couldn't be monetized, right? So you've already cut off that sort of piece. You've gotten their attention at that point. And then you could have gone through the lot numbers and everything like that. And you could have gone through, the correct thing. Chat is saying 23 boxes. Yes. Really and truthfully, to be a competitive Magic player, you kind of either have to know exactly what decks you want and just buy all the singles from Card Kingdom and many other places, or just buy a bunch of boxes.
He probably bought the boxes again because nobody knew what was in the set. Now most people think if you buy a box or two, you're going to get the whole set. Because there's not much to this set. It's a minor release, but still.
The thing that I can't seem to understand is how is Wizards, having been in business this long, they've screwed up 2 to 3 times majorly in the past 6 months.
Ooh, I know.
Educate the class, please.
Wizards of the Coast has hired a series of senior managers and executives who come from outside of the tabletop industry, who have no idea about this industry, and are just seasoned executives. And they're operating under this very common thought that is in business, where if you're a senior executive for this kind of industry, you could be a senior executive here. It's been done forever. This is how you go from being CEO of Pepsi to CEO of Toyota, right? You see this stuff. I saw it all the time, right? I'm sure you saw it on Amazon. People hiring VPs and stuff where it's like, you did what before? Oh, you know nothing about this. You have no idea what you're doing. And what they've done is they've hired a series of executives that have no idea how this industry functions, how it's functioned for 40 years, and they're trying to force change into these industries in how the business is run. That just runs them into nothing but a series of problems.
Chad just said competency in leadership is overrated. I mean, sometimes it happens, right? Like the thing about it is that it comes down to this, right? Is the distribution that comes along with some of this. Because the thing about it is the person who sold it at the distribution is fired probably. Like we won't hear about it necessarily, but they're probably gone.
Very likely.
And because if WotC pulls the business from that distribution, that distributor is probably done. And we don't know. I haven't seen.
They haven't
like
released
which
that
distributor
information.
it is.
No.
But let's be honest. There's only 2 or 3, and if you're in the Wizards,
And here's the thing: the distributors
aren't
aren't supposed to be sending them out yet.
Well, and I think that the distributor's probably a little peeved as well. The hookup when it comes to stuff like this, first of all, it's really dumb that this person went and streamed it anyways. Like if you know you're getting the hookup, you should know when everybody else is getting the hookup. Film it and act like it's live later on, right? Film it and release it at 12:01 when the distribution goes out. Do one of the things that any kind of comes along with this, right?
The sad thing is he probably didn't even think about it.
No, he probably didn't. No. He's probably trying to go for views.
Yeah, well, and again, apparently before this, he was a fairly minor YouTuber. And he just was like, cool, neat, I'm going to do this. There is a world in which I would have done the same thing he did.
Yeah. it's one of those things where it's like it does come up with the thing, right, of the and by the way, Hasbro has come out and basically said, or WotC through Hasbro, I guess, have come out and said they're going to give him his 23 boxes back once it releases.
Yep.
And so like he's going to get his allotment that he paid for and stuff like that.
I'll bet you they give him some extra shit.
He ain't minor now. That's true.
They're gonna hook him up with some cool secret layers and probably a box of those 30th anniversary cards.
Yeah, they are going to basically.
They're gonna hook him up.
Because they know they're in the wrong. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how you go with an agency like that. And I understand that they're first and foremost they're investigating, right? You don't kick in somebody's door like it's a fucking SWAT raid, though.
I mean, to be fair, they knocked.
And then they kicked the door in, just like a lot of raids happen.
First off, this is apparently not the first time that they have dispatched Pinkertons.
I don't imagine it is, because like you said, if you don't announce yourself as part of a Pinkerton, nobody would know. You're just, hi, I'm an investigator. I'm looking into the theft of whatever.
Oh no, they're required to identify themselves. They have to. That's policy.
Okay, and you of all people know how well some of these people follow policy.
If they don't, they're in deep. That's a huge deal, and they run into some.
How much trouble are they
issues?
in for doing this versus what they did?
I don't know the direct. Do we know where this guy lives?
No, let's not swat him on stream.
I mean, what state?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know what state he lives in.
I don't know what state he lives in either, but.
So, with the type of compliance that they're under, this will get you fired.
Yeah.
Like if you're the Pinkerton, if you don't identify yourself as a Pinkerton, it'll get you fired.
Well, and even if you use excessive force when it kind of comes to stuff like that, like he's got a lawsuit on his hands against the Pinkertons for what they've done.
I really hope he's got a Ring camera.
I absolutely hope so too.
Oh no, actually, he doesn't have a lawsuit against Pinkerton.
Why not?
Nope.
That's forced entry.
There is a liability shield. It's Wizards.
I would start at the individual officers themselves and go all the way through Hasbro at this point.
There's 3 liability shields between them and Wizards.
Doesn't matter. You still bring it and have to have them defend it in court.
So basically, if he sues anybody, Hasbro / Wizards of the Coast is the they hold all of the liability at this point. Now, that can change, and again, there should have been written instructions and a scope given to the agents to say, this is what we need you to do, this is your job, this is what we're asking you to do in this situation, and here's how far you can take this, right? That's supposed to be clearly outlined within these kind of operations, right?
I think the thing though that comes along with this, and this is why I think like he's got so much of this kind of stuff, but like, let's just be thankful nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Now, he's got a hell of a lawsuit, I think. And if I was WotC, I would be prepping that dude all day long and trying to make him a content creator and pushing his streams for us. And
now I'm really curious because now here's the other thing I can tell because I found the statement that you found. Yeah, so this is the issue. Leave a voicemail. This statement was handed to them by the security department, and PR cleaned it up just to make it sound nice.
Yeah, but if you read through the PR speak, like it's
no, I mean this portion, because again, I've been in these meetings too. What happened? We have to put out a statement.
Yeah.
And so somebody who's a director level within the company is sitting there going, this is what we did.
Yeah.
And this is why, and here's the scope. The security industry is full of CYA. Full of it. more so than any
Absolutely.
other industry I've been in.
Well, because you have to. You are in some ways you are permitted to use force under certain circumstances, which means you have to cover your behind.
Yeah. So most of the Pinkertons that I know, again, right, wrong, or don't like them, that's fine. Most of the Pinkertons I know are very professional. And by that I mean they're not nice, but what they are is they know their scope,
Yeah.
and they know how far they're able to go. Now, will they occasionally cross some lines? And it sounds like I would be surprised if leaving the door forced open without law enforcement present was in the scope. So the Pinkertons might be in trouble.
Yes.
Again,
depending on the state it is, that's forced entry because they don't have a warrant to come into your house.
And again, there's actually states where they don't need one.
The Pinkertons don't, or
No,
anybody,
there
because
are
that's
states-
trespassing.
There are states where they don't need a warrant if they think they're pursuing stolen product.
Well, all the states
It's
that I have
messed
lived, all the states that I have lived in, you have to have a warrant to come in.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't envy the Pinkerton director here because he's getting some questions right now from the senior leadership. They're like, "What the hell did you just do?"
Yeah, I feel sure those guys got a one hell of a talking to when they got back.
Well, and the funny thing is, a lot of the stuff is a lot of people's comments that I've seen on a lot of this stuff is, I didn't know the Pinkertons were around. That's kind of by design. They don't like to be out there. They don't want to meet. They don't want to be publicly doxed, for lack of a better term. They don't want to be outed.
Yeah.
They like most people outside of the industry not knowing they fucking exist.
Yeah.
You know,
you can move in the shadows much easier and do investigations much easier if you're not.
So, and they have two primary divisions. They have a global security division, and then they have a global intelligence division, and they do have an intelligence agency that they operate.
Yep.
During actions of civil unrest, I had access to their GUIs for real-time intelligence stuff.
Pink ninjas, so to speak.
Pink ninjas. Anyway,
Chat woke up and chose violence today too.
heck, I hope he sues them all. He's one of those shady Trump lawyers. There's a reason to every time
They're the West and they're the bad guys. Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. They're not exactly shown well in BioShock either. Like they've got one hell of a history, that's for sure.
The last time I remember reading a piece of pop culture where the Pinkertons were not shown badly was Sherlock Holmes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. The Pinkertons don't have to dance with them. So there's the 1893 Anti-Pinkerton Act. They're not allowed to work for the federal government.
No, they are not.
In most capacities. It's against federal law. They used to basically be the FBI before we had an FBI, which is why that law exists now. Yeah, Wizards.
Shady organizations work among you.
I am not rooting for any brand or group to fail, but Christ, Wizards, can you just stop this?
The second half of 2023, I wonder if the CEO and stuff like that at Wizards at this point in time is just like, can we just have like a quiet bit for the second half? I'm getting kind of tired.
This is the other reason why I say it's Wizards has brought in a lot of executives who don't know this industry and don't understand the long-term ramifications of what they're doing, because the fact that given everything that's happened the first 4 months of the year, that I have not seen any news releases saying people are fired.
Right.
Because nobody's gotten fired yet.
I don't think they will get, like...
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, fire somebody.
I love VT in the chat. He's like, I'm honestly wondering who's more incompetent at this point, WotC or Fox News. They're having a stupid off right now.
I don't know.
Fox News is just
Fox was
paying
smart
a lot more
enough to
money.
settle the lawsuit and fire Tucker Carlson.
That's, well, for $750 million, you know, just no,
That's
some
better
chump
than
change.
It was better than the 1.6 Dominion wanted.
Yeah. Guess let's second that. Can we hose it down a bit? Fire somebody who isn't in R&D. There's some people that I have talked to that have left Wizards that are not happy with Wizards. For sure. And I suspect that all things are not as... I suspect that a lot of very creative people are very hindered by a lot of executive thrash that's happening there.
Also, they're
So.
hindered by the fact that if you are a creative at Wizards of the Coast, there's nowhere else to go.
Yes,
right.
You're you can go to other games industries, which we'll talk about again in a little bit, but
it's hard.
If you're in narrative and if you're in art, you have places to go. Now, all of those places are very difficult to get into, but if you've shipped a D&D game, you can at least say, I shipped a AAA game and put it out there, you know? So there is that.
Are the studios who require having, because I mean, you and I've talked about this before, a lot of studios have been on a shipped a AAA game in their job description, in the job requirements. Yeah. Do you think that, how many of the game developers would consider D&D a AAA game?
A lot of them, because the narrative storytelling, which is my background, it travels over easily, because the dialogue and the things that you're writing in like a video game, or just the story beats and the things that you are writing for and stuff like that, those things can travel between the two.
So to answer a question, chat real quick, they do non-competes? Probably not. And the reason is, especially in Washington State, which is where Wizards of the Coast is, non-competes are nearly impossible to enforce.
Yeah.
You will see what's called, the easiest ones for them to enforce are what's called a non-solicitation agreement. So let's say Mallow and I work for Wizards, right? And I leave Wizards to go work for Cobalt Press. What I will have is I will have a non-solicitation, which means I cannot attempt to recruit, hire, etc. Sean from my prior employer for a period of time, usually 2 years.
You will get sued in the state of Washington for that, and it will not go through. But it will cost your company a lot of money, and it'll be a pain in the butt, and then you'll be labeled as a troublemaker. I know this because I've seen it happen in several companies that I have consulted for and or worked with directly.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt.
Non-solicitations are more common in Washington State. Non-competes.
And they actually don't do it under non-solicitation in the state of Washington. They actually do it under tampering, because you are attempting to undermine another company. That's how they attack it in the court.
The amount of money, because there's actually a minimum threshold.
They ain't coming after the narrative storytellers. Let's put it that way.
Here's the thing.
They're coming after the executives.
In order to hit them on a non-compete in the state of Washington, depending on the statutory set, they either have to be paying them $107,301.04 per year, or more.
Yeah.
And if they hit them under the 030 RCW, it's $268,000 a year, which they're not paying the R&D people at Wizards $268,000 a year. Oh, sorry, that was 2022. 2023 is $116,000 and $291,000.
Yeah. Chat saying, "Are you sure I've seen non-competes being handed out to Washington employees by out-of-state companies?" That's all well and good. It depends.
They're not enforceable,
but they're like, I have signed non-competes and laughed while I signed them, because I know that they are not really enforceable, and they at the federal level in some cases are not enforceable. So that's not to say don't go tampering with other companies and don't go doing trade secrets and shit, because that's espionage, corporate espionage, and that's what they actually book you on, really, more than anything.
Yeah.
Just leave the company. Again, don't take corporate secrets with you, because that is actual espionage too. That will get you sued.
Corporations will try and make people sign non-competes, and like Mao does. And I literally, the last non-compete I had, and I was over the threshold for the non-compete. I still laughed. Yeah. Because good luck. I mean,
well, the other thing, enforcing
non-competes outside of like major executive levels are
impossible. And it's also one of those things too, is they have to have probable cause that you took intellectual property and trade secrets with you to another company. If you are an artist and you draw a certain art style, or if you're a narrative story designer and you go writing a story for a different company that has nothing to do with what you did beforehand or whatever, that is not fall under a non-compete clause. That's just making intellectual property. Now, but that company owns the intellectual property, the one that you wrote for previously, and the one that you're creating for then. All of that stuff that you're creating in real time for them is owned by those companies. That's how you get around the trade secrets. So they have to go and prove that you're taking like technology. This happens a lot in tech industries, that you're taking code samples and, you know, insider knowledge and all these kind of things with you to another job.
And you gotta remember, non-competes in the state of Washington also are not enforceable if they lay you off.
That's also true. That you have to leave.
Unless they pay you by the way, this is also in the tech industry when you're seeing these giant severance packages. That's one of the ways to enforce a non-compete. So let's pretend that Amazon wanted to lay Mallow off, and they wanted to enforce a 12-month non-compete just so that they had moved on from the stuff Mallow had worked on by the time.
My starting price is $1 million, just to let you know.
They have to, in order to make it enforceable, at least his base salary for 1 full year. Minimum.
Yes. And they have to be very specific in the places that you are not allowed to work. So, for instance, they could sit there and say, can't go to Google, can't go to Apple, can't go to Facebook, yada, 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 yada.
So, I'm actually going to address something in chat because somebody said if they went to work for another game store and said something about us, they could sue me. I actually can't. So, there's a couple of different things. One, you can have someone sign a non-disparagement clause, right? And those are usually mutual. So there's non-disparagement clauses. The only thing I could sue you for is, again, theft of intellectual property or trade secrets. If I could prove that you gave trade secrets that we closely held as a company to another company. You can go talk bad to me. Like, if you work at Macy's and then go to Nordstrom and be like, Macy's sucks.
Yeah.
Like, Macy's can't do shit.
That's your First Amendment right to have an opinion in the good old United States of America.
You can talk. All right, that's enough of that one.
Well, actually, no. Chat brought up the lawsuit against the Dark and Darker developer by the Korean company Nexon. So like they've had a hell of a run. They've had a police raid in Korea. Like Dark and Darker got pulled from Steam recently.
I heard about that. I'm not up on this story.
So the lawsuit was filed on April 14th in the Western District of Washington, and in that case, Nexon has filed lawsuit alleging that both misappropriation of trade secrets and copyright infringement against Ironmance, which is the creator of the game, and the two of its founders. So yeah, they took the two founders of the company took confidential company information and used it when making Dark and Darker. And others used copyright-protected works owned by Nexon when making the game. So, yeah, it is back now. I saw some people playing it the other day. So, yeah, it's essentially, like, I think the Nexon claims that they didn't give...
It's a trade secret one, yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, this one's a little wobbly compared to the other ones because, like, there's certain things that, like, that company may have done that is in the rebuttal and stuff like that are things that, like, Amazon will never go give you private servers to go create a game that is not wholly owned by them.
Yeah.
That's not ever going to happen. You know, that's one thing that they tell you immediately when you work for these companies, right? Like, any IP that you create while you are working here is our property. That is what we're paying you to do, essentially. And so... this one's a little sticky and a little weird because of, like, it is, and where it's filed in the state of Washington. It's going to be a little difficult for them to prove this one. Because and now you're going international too, because the different companies and stuff like that. So, we'll see where it goes from there. We'll keep an eye on it and see what's up, because that's a local story for us.
Yep.
In the gaming news, more breaking news from this morning. Fairly fascinating story. Yes, I agree. I'm gonna read up. Also dumb as a story, but fascinating. I know, but it's so fun to, like, see these things, like, as they screw up and stuff like that. Like, it's very interesting. To protect your copyright and to protect your IP in this country takes a lot of work. To then add Korean international law to it is just adds a whole nother layer of complexity that We are not lawyers. We know enough to get ourselves in trouble.
I know enough to hire a lawyer.
Right. And I know enough not to go steal trade secrets from a Korean company. Allegedly. But this morning, or in the afternoon, UK time, the CMA, or the Competition and Markets Authority in the UK, has announced they're going to formally block the deal for Microsoft to acquire Activision Blizzard. They are citing has nothing to do with Call of Duty, but everything to do with cloud gaming.
Yep.
The thing that will be dead in like 2 years is the thing that they're blocking this particular... No. It's the hill that they want to die on.
Again, I went and read the full ruling from the CMA, which is going to be appealed by Microsoft and Blizzard.
Yep.
Now, in defense of the CMA slightly, I have Game Pass, right? And I have been using their cloud gaming function lately.
You are one of 3 people.
Yeah, me, Gator Pete, and one other person. Because Gator Pete was the one that turned me on to it.
Stadia will not be making a comeback anytime soon. Thanks, chat.
I'll say this. I will say this. The cloud gaming function for Game Pass does work. I wouldn't use it for like fighting games and stuff, but
can't use it for fighting game. Can't use it for Call of Duty. Can't use it for Overwatch. None of that stuff.
But I'll give you an example. The one I used it for last night. I wanted to try Shadowrun Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just to see what it was. I liked some of the previous Shadowrun games. They're fun. So I was like, oh, cool. But I could stream it instead of having to download it. So I didn't have to wait. I just boot it up and go. Mm-hmm. Just so I could see if the narrative and gameplay was going to hook me.
Yeah.
Right? And for that reason, I will use that. That's what I use their cloud gaming service for, which is I want to try this before I like commit to the 40 gigs of hard drive space.
Right.
I don't know enough about the UK's appeals tribunal to know whether this is going to get overturned. I have no idea.
I think they're fighting an uphill battle.
The UK blocking it is definitely a big knock against.
The UK blocking it, but the EU hasn't ruled yet. And the EU is bigger than the UK, and they have a better chance of doing it in the EU.
You think the EU is going to block it?
No. I think that this deal is still going through, and I think the UK is going to end up with more egg on their face for trying to block a deal and things like that. And I don't think that, like, they've tried to signal in America a similar thing that they are worried about the cloud gaming and stuff like that. But considering
the SEC's doing a bunch of different stuff,
they're trying everything because they don't have enough reason to not do this, right?
And there was some of the stuff I was reading is people were surprised because in the UK typically, because it's a horizontal buyout, somebody buying one of their own vendors. Mm-hmm. Those usually sail through the CMA. It's when you're trying to buy a direct competitor, which Blizzard is not, that the UK typically goes, no. Yeah, I'm interested.
All it's done for me is, and I played, and Jedi Survivor is being talked about in chat, and we're going to get to that in a minute. All it's done for me is highlight just how poor of a game company Sony is, and how much they are not connected to the standard customer at this day and age. And it is insane to me that, like, and by no real fault of Xbox, they're just doing things that are more consumer friendly in the Game Pass, trying to make streaming work, but let's be honest, even on Azure servers, those things ain't gonna work very well. Like, there's some niche uses. Like, when you streamed that, you streamed it to your box, didn't you? Your computer, right?
Yep.
Steam can do that already. Blizzard can do that. A lot of people can do that. It's when you're talking about streaming to phones and tablets, that's what this whole argument's about. And let's be honest, Stadia's dead. Amazon Luna is hanging on, but there's been a lot of cuts. They had another 7 or 8.
I forgot Luna was still around.
Launched that one too. Gonna see another baby die.
How much does it cost?
It's inexpensive, and it can be done through a lot of the Fire TV devices and stuff like that.
Oh,
But,
included with Prime.
yeah. But let's be real about it. Like, it's one of those things where Amazon just had another 7,000 or 8,000 people cut this morning. So much so that like the New World forums I think are going down now. I think I saw in our Discord earlier. So like the support for cloud gaming never really took off because the infrastructure isn't quite there. And
Well, we don't have enough. The ping. You would have to be so close. Because you're talking about, especially something like Call of Duty or fighting games, you're talking about millisecond response times that you're just never going to get.
Rip New World. Rip New World's been dying for about a year now, sadly.
Has it been that long?
Let's put it this way, it lost me a while back in the new areas, and now they're going to a Game Pass mentality to it because everything has to have a fucking Game Pass in it, including MMOs. Like, it's I don't want to say it's a waste of time, but it's just one of those things where like the whole, and then the competitive
for a little while.
The competitive scene in it is terrible. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of kind of things. There's not a thing that wanted to keep you going in that game. The lore isn't quite there. It's kind of a kitschy, weird lore versus like, Blizzard. Blizzard shipped their best game in World of Warcraft Dragonflight, and it sold poorly. Like, that is a return to good World of Warcraft. Like, so much so that a lot of, in the Gamers Heaven Guild, in that, for as long as my subscription lasts, because I'm not renewing, because I'm one of those people that it's like, well, there's not a lot of people playing on this thing, and we're kind of just grinding, so why play it? Like, there's a steep drop-off going into World of Warcraft right now, which is sad, because the lore is probably the best it's been in 7 years, maybe? I would like to say 7 or 8 years.
But forget WoW has lore.
WoW has lore, and it's good lore. That's the thing. New World, the lore is so obscure and so out there, like there's nothing to keep you hooked into the game,
Yeah.
Do you really want to play New World anymore with the new Zelda game and Jedi Survivor coming out next week? Nah. The Zelda game is dropping 1 week too late to catch me because I have to travel again. So if I was able to if I thought Zelda was dropping this week, which would have been great because I could take my Switch with me and actually play the game for a little bit. I won't be taking a laptop that can run Jedi Survivor, so it's kind of whatever to me. I recently played Jedi Fallen Order and realized just how terrible that game is. It is.
I enjoyed Fallen Order.
It's so bad. I've never been so frustrated wielding a lightsaber in my entire life.
So I have yet to see a company get that perfectly great. I will say, I think that the difficulty difference, and I had to take it down to story mode. When I beat Fallen Order, did it on story mode, couldn't do it. Like, got probably about 35% of the way through the game.
Yeah.
But that was where I also hit my skill plateau.
Mm-hmm.
Right, with that Souls-esque, like, duck right at the right time, block right at the reaction time. Like, I just was never going to be that good. All the upgrades were cosmetic.
Yep.
Again, I disagree with Mallow. I thought the story was fun. I thought Cal was a neat character. I loved the little droid. I love BD. I wasn't a huge fan of the puzzles, and I don't like dungeon delvers that much. I'm looking forward to this one because apparently there's big sections on Coruscant, which fascinate me. I didn't love the Kashyyyk level, but there was some fun stuff in Fallen Order, so I didn't think it was terrible. But I also don't think any video game has ever given me a satisfying lightsaber combat system.
Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed 1 and 2 was just fantastic when it came to the lightsabers.
It was good, but
it was fantastic. The best lightsaber combat still is Lego Star Wars anyways. Don't at me because I'm not going to reply to it because I'm not going to listen to anybody dissenting me there. Like that's the thing is the controls are clunky, and I played it again on PS5, so I've played it across platforms at this point.
I did it on PC, but with a controller. I wouldn't play that with mouse and keyboard.
Oh hell no,
ever.
That's not a mouse and keyboard game. No. But I played it again on PS5 because I haven't been able to walk all week from a bad back. So I had nothing else to do but work in my recliner and then play games. So I did. And I replayed it. But it's just the controls are just like it's clunky in the same way that Uncharted games are clunky. Whereas I want precision. I'm a freaking Jedi, man. Like I want to blaze through stormtroopers like it's nobody's business. And then when you get to those boss fights against the Inquisitors and stuff like that, like I want it to feel like tight. I want to feel like some saber combat, man. And it just felt super clunky. So if Survivor fixes that portion of it, can fix some of the stuff and fix the camera fighting you constantly in that game, might give it a shot. But the just generally, I know that there is a ton of tech issues for the PC build, so if you're trying to get it on PC, maybe hold off for a little bit till they get the major patch done. Hopefully we'll see. There's probably some people there. You're a Padawan, get it right. No, Jedi Academy was pretty solid. Yeah, Jedi Academy was good.
The Jedi Knight games were probably the closest I've seen to a really good like lightsaber combat system. Again, that's probably my biggest spread. Yeah, new game has multiple stances. Again, if it's anything like, you know, other games that they've improved from a 1 to a 2, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna stream it on Friday, at the store. You know, see if it's any good.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when it comes out, when it goes through. I'm not as sold on that game having replayed the saber combat.
I am that way with Zelda. The last Zelda game was so empty.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to play. This is the thing. I'm only looking forward to some of these games to stream them for views. I'm not looking forward to actually play. I didn't make it all the way through the first Zelda game because
so empty.
It's like Elden Ring, where you can just walk up to an enemy and they'll one-shot you with no training repercussions, none of that stuff, and you've got to deal with stamina and all these other kind of like it's boring in a lot of ways. Like it's very boring, and you get stuck in these vistas and these kind of things like that. Like,
and it's a pretty game. But yeah, it lost me. There's not much I'm looking forward to coming out this year. I am looking forward to the Cyberpunk 2077 DLC whenever that finally drops.
Yeah.
Because I want to see Idris Elba in there, because that's going to be fun.
That's another game that didn't have as precise a combat I wish they would have had.
Yeah, its combat was pretty middle of the road.
Exoprimal chat says they're looking forward to that. Jedi 40th anniversary screening this Friday. That's going to be dope as hell.
Oh shit! Is that this Friday?
Yeah, it starts this Friday. That's gonna be, it's Jedi.
I want to go see that. I would really like to. Starfield, I think, is the only one that I'm really looking forward to seeing what it is this year.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things. Like I said, I'm gonna try the new Zelda game, see if they've fixed any of the issues with the previous one. But my time is kind of precious, so I have to be, I have to really want to sit down and play a game to really want to sit down and play a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that have...
Again, this is why I appreciate the stream function. I've been using it to just try stuff, just to be like, oh, is this any good?
Yeah. Because
there's so many games that I'm, like, very iffy on. Gator Pete says that the Game Pass streaming functions probably saved him hundreds of dollars of not buying games. Being like, oh, no.
If you like tactical strategy games, that could be interesting. Aliens: Dark Descent. Is that? I mean, I'm assuming it's based on Aliens, the movie franchise.
So there is actually something I am looking forward to. When does that come out?
Oh, chat saying FF16 later this year.
Yeah, I was literally just looking at that. What day does that come out? June. Oh, that's probably one that if anything makes me buy a PS5 or steal my PS5 from the store for like 4 or 5 days, it's gonna be Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah,
that's gonna be it. I will put some time. I loved 15, loved it, adored 15. I understand why a lot of people didn't like it, and until they fixed it with the DLCs, there was a gap in the narrative. They have since fixed that. I don't think 16 is going to go to PC in 6 months. I think it's going to be at least a year. And I really want to play it.
It wasn't a complete story. I agree. Here's the thing about Final Fantasy, or at least the latest iterations.
It is a complete story once you get the DLCs.
7 was Cyberpunk to me. As close to Cyberpunk Fantasy as I ever went to.
Steampunk?
It's as close to Cyberpunk Fantasy as I think
Final
anything will
Fantasy's
get.
ever come.
It has ever come. My version of writing a fantasy version of Identico would look very close to the latest Final Fantasy games.
15?
15, 16 is probably going to be one of those. 8's it's up there. It's not one of my faves. I know it's a lot of other people's faves, but I'm not going to argue with you on it.
8 has the same kind of vibe to me as 15. It's that same kind of like, if I was going to write a fantasy, that's what it would look like.
The whole mecha magic system and stuff like that was in 6 was fantastic.
Magitech.
Magitech, and then what was it called in 7? I'm blanking. Materia. Yeah. Black Materia by Mega Ran, by the way, fantastic album. Go check that out. Like the look and feel of the latest 15, and then 16 just looks fan-fucking-tastic. It looks so drippy. Cannot wait for that game, because I will. That's the only thing that PS5 will actually get some use out of it downstairs. Because there hasn't been a lot of games that I wanted to play on it, really.
That's why I haven't bought one yet.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is I didn't buy my 4 until there was one, and it was Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, time to buy a PS4. PS5 is the same way. I won't buy a PlayStation until A, I can actually get one, and B, there's a game that I want to play on it that's exclusive.
It's been a little bit It's been a little bit easier to get PS5 these days. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I would like, I'm actually working on a YouTube concept for my the other channel for this, is because we're gonna, with 16 coming, we're talking about the best ones. I still say Tactics is top 3 in all the Final Fantasy games they've ever made.
So you're gonna do like a rundown of which ones you like best and stuff?
Oh yeah, something like that. I enjoy Fast and Furious with Diesel. Oh hey, Fast 10 is coming. You're a big Fast and Furious fan, Mallow.
Yep. It'll be interesting.
I'm looking for the last one.
Oh, it was nonsense. It was absolute nonsense.
When they went to space.
It makes no bloody sense whatsoever.
Okay.
10 looks fun though. 9's like one of those ones that I put way down. I'm like, you can skip this one. You're not really getting anything out of it. It's like Too Fast, Too Furious. You never need to watch that movie ever. It's like cut. It's like Attack of the Clones. Cut that, or it's like Phantom Menace. Cut that thing out of the machete order or whatever like that.
Was the one without Vin Diesel, right?
It was the one with Paul Walker and Tyrese in there. And
then
they have great chemistry, but the whole thing just falls apart. Who cares on that one? 10 with Jason Momoa being the main baddie. Oh, he looks like he's like the fucking Joker. He looks like he's dripped Joker out there. Fantastic.
Plot though, you hurt my family. No,
absolutely.
Get your family.
How many times are we watching Batman and Flash films though, and it's the same bloody thing? Even in the Flash, which debuted at CinemaCon this past week,
nothing but good things.
Still won't watch it because of Ezra Miller, so they can fuck off with that whole thing. I won't watch it. Just cannot support DC. Cannot support any of that shit because of what they've done.
Michael Keaton.
He, from what I've heard out of CinemaCon, is the best portion of the movie.
I heard the girl who played Kara Zor-El, the girl who's playing Supergirl, apparently is a scene stealer. She's good.
Well, you won't see her in any movies coming up because they're all nonsense movies.
Nope. They're all done now.
They're all the James Gunn movies all look like nonsense to me. So.
Well, none of these are Gunn. This is all the pre-Gun stuff.
Oh yeah, no, this is the only decent, from what I understand, this is the only decent DCEU movie that was made.
Yeah.
And it's Flashpoint, so we've all seen it and know
got a general idea of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they're bringing back General Zod, they're bringing out Batfleck, they've brought Michael Keaton back. I feel sure there's other Easter eggs in there that we don't know about yet, but
I'm sure.
Since the first Wonder Woman movie, the problem with the first Wonder Woman movie was the third act where it just goes completely off the rails. The first two were fantastic. The first 2 acts in that movie were great. But when it went to the Harry Potter ending, I was just like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm not letting Ezra Miller ruin Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. I know. Like,
I have to see it. Like, I'm gonna go see this. I don't love Ezra Miller, and if Ezra Miller was the writer or the director, I probably would be taking a stronger stance. But from everything I hear, Andy Muschietti did a kick-ass job.
Thanks, BT. When you put the bar at the bottom of the ocean floor, it's not hard to. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yes. Now, I will say this for non-stuff. Like, I saw a preview for the new Joker movie.
Which you don't like already.
Fucking nope. I don't. And I saw the preview, and it there is nothing. I will watch the preview, and I try to go into these with like an open mind. Like, okay, is this nope? Don't look any better. Great. I don't want to watch this. Like, I just don't want to. Like, I will probably end up watching it just because obviously I have to like pop culture things because of my various jobs.
I'll watch a recap. I'll watch a recap video. That's about all you're getting out of me.
I didn't like the first one.
If I end up getting Max at some point in time, which is a stretch at the moment because I don't know if I really need what's on Max at the moment.
I think my HBO Max is going to automatically convert to Max when
yours will. But when I got rid of Comcrap, I got rid of HBO and HBO Max, thankfully. So I saved some cash there because there's been nothing on that I've wanted to watch. Because I'm not a big House of Dragons fan, and
House of the Dragon was good.
It was okay.
Kevin Conroy as Batman for the final time in the Suicide Squad game. Yeah, I hope so too. BT, I hope it's good.
Yeah.
I liked the Batman. I did like the Batman. I'm glad they're making a sequel to that. I'm looking forward to the show with Colin Farrell playing more Penguin. I saw her as Harley Quinn, and I just. And the thing is that what Shane's saying in the chat is what I'm afraid I'm going to see in this film. The problem is the Harley Quinn character exists in an abusive relationship with the Joker.
Yes.
Right? Like, this is established. It's canon. Right? We know this. And we know that in the comic books, they've been gradually, like, working Harley out of that. Right? Yes. In a very good way. Right? Where she's been in a relationship with Poison Ivy and, like staying the fuck away from Joker and da-da-da-da-da. And I like that. That's good. This movie looks like it's going to be Harley Quinn, played by Lady Gaga, in an abusive relationship with the Joker, and they're going to try and make it okay.
The Harley Quinn animated show I heard was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not enough to make me get HBO Max, but I heard it was good.
So that's what I think that this movie's going to do is, like chat said, it was trying to make the Joker's actions excusable in the first Joker movie, and I think they're going to do it again with him.
Didn't they cancel the Harley Quinn animated show though?
I think they think they're just done. I think they were like, okay, we're good. We
did they wrapped it. Okay,
yeah,
right, cool.
Wrapped it.
I don't know if it's one of those ones they put in the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a lot with Harley Quinn lately, and again, I think this is a step back for the character, based on what I'm seeing here. The Batman was awesome. Yeah, see, Chad agrees. I thought Pattinson did a great job. I still think that he's not a very good Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I stand by my assessment that we put on YouTube. Me and Malin did this months ago. Kevin Conroy is the only Batman who I think did a good job as both Batman and Bruce Wayne.
I'd forgotten that Momoa was in Stargate Atlantis too. Thank you, Tim.
He was?
Yeah. I saw Stargate Atlantis on there. And yeah. Tip was saying Momoa's been fun to see evolve as an actor since Stargate Atlantis. I'd forgotten that.
That is neat.
Yeah,
that's neat.
Setting the bar in the stratosphere though. Well, that's true. But Kevin Conroy, you should come to expect a level of greatness when you get people like James Gunn and others involved. And I'm not making unreasonable demands here when I say I just want somebody who can play the duality of Batman, because that's the point of the character.
So this is actually where I'm interested. So so we have Flash, Aquaman, and Blue Beetle are the last three movies from the old regime, the pre-Gunn Safran regime.
Yes.
Right? That's it. And they're done. They have a release date for the first movie. It is Superman, and Gunn is writing and directing it himself.
Yeah.
Right? He knows, because he's not dumb, that with the damage that DC has taken over the last few years, this first movie in his new expanded universe has got to knock it out of the park. I am really curious to see what he does. The Batman version they're doing is a little older. It's a younger Superman and an older Batman, because we're getting a Damian Wayne storyline.
Yeah.
That's where they're starting, which means it's grown-up Dick Grayson already is Nightwing.
Yeah.
And they've said that it will be the Bat family. Sadly, Batwoman is vaulted. Here's the thing. I think if Batwoman was any good, I think they would have released it, at least to HBO Max. From everything that I have read, heard, seen covered from sources that I consider very legitimate, apparently the Batwoman movie was bad.
It's interesting that you say that too, because like Zaslav this week came out and actually said we don't believe in direct-to-streaming movies.
Yeah.
So he's all in on the theater.
Yeah.
And not to this mega platform that they're building in Max, which is a dumb name, but we've talked about that before. Mark Hamill would be my Joker. Yes.
Mark Hamill was a great Joker.
Yes.
He was role defining as the Joker. Him and Heath Ledger probably the two best versions of the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I'm looking forward to the next version of, because they're doing another The Batman. Like, that is happening. Mm-hmm. But they're now putting it under the Elseworlds banner. So they're going to have, DC's going to have their main continuity, and then they're going to do Elseworlds, which I actually don't think is a bad idea.
It's not until you realize that the Elseworlds stuff is probably going to be better than anything James Gunn and them make. Like, that's the problem. Like,
I mean, I'm looking forward to Guardians 3. So far, James has not disappointed me with his comic book fare. Also, the Guardians Holiday Special was a treat.
It was a treat, but it's not...
It's canon, and apparently has something to do with what's going to happen in 3.
Yeah, it'll get there. We'll see a Kevin Bacon post-credit scenes, probably. You know, it'll be something like that, right? I love me some Elseworlds. But I think that's the thing, is like...
They're just calling them, they're using Elseworlds as the banner, right? Yeah. Because what they want to be able to do is they want to be able to get away from the exact Marvel formula. They want to have an interconnected universe, and that's good. But what they want to be able to do is tell individual stories, like Joker, like the Batman, that are in different continuities where they're not having to be concerned with what happens 4 movies from now.
Yeah.
So they're calling it Elseworlds. Max sounds like an illegal streaming site from the mid-2000s. I still have Skinamax in my head over this.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's... We'll see where all of it goes. I think that... I'm glad that people are very hyped about this particular movie. I can't get over the BS with the main actor with some of this stuff.
Oh, that's fair.
And I also kind of can't get over the point of, like... They're just going to throw it out and go make a bunch of, like, Shark Boy type movies and stuff like that. Like, I'm just like 360 whip around kind of thing. Like, so that's me not being invested in wanting to care about this particular story at the moment, because I know it's just going to basically get steamrolled by a whole nother thing.
You're one of the people that's going to take you a couple of James Gunn, Safran, DCEU ones being good before you jump back on the wagon.
Yeah, because they've just let me down so much. Like, I got into the DCEU, and I got in with, Wonder Woman.
The Snyder.
The whole Snyder. Yeah, and I was like, all right, we're going to go for a Snyderverse. All right, cool. They're going to start swinging. It's going to be okay. Once bit, might be a little shy, and so it's going to take it is going to take a little bit for me to kind of get into this whole kind of thing.
VT, to actually answer your question, Gunn and Safran addressed that. So the DCEU will have crossover where some of the features will be animated and they will be in canon in that world. And what they're doing is they are casting the same actor to play them live action as is doing the voice acting, very much like the like Bo-Katan. The woman Katie Sackhoff did the voice of Bo-Katan in the Clone Wars animated series. She is Bo-Katan in live action. That's kind of the stack that Gunn and Safran are going for. Is if we cast you for the movie, you are going to do the voice acting for the cartoons that are in the same continuity.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out when it comes up to it. There's a lot of cautious optimism, I think, that'll come along with some of this stuff, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
I'm hoping Marvel recovers with Guardians and the Marvels.
I don't think they will with the Marvels. I think I
don't know enough yet. This one I'm still confused as to what the movie's about.
I've read the entire script. It's not going to bring people to the theater.
You don't think so?
People
I love
hate
Miss Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
But I love Miss Marvel.
Oh no! I'm not one of the haters. I'm saying the Gen Pop, the normies that we like to talk about on this show.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough of them screaming about this movie that's probably gonna keep enough people away from the theater, and I'm gonna.
What about Guardians?
Guardians will be okay. It's the final in the trilogy, and I think enough people have put in enough things to care. I think it's going to be the only standout Marvel film this year.
I think the marketing for Guardians has been good because they're teasing some like deep, heavy-hitting stuff, specifically around Rocket.
Yeah,
that I think are going to drive people to the theater.
I think they will, and I think I have read the script to the Marvels. I think it is an interesting, if not convoluted, concept, and the things that they introduce. It's not Thor: Love and Thunder per se, not that far. It's more like Thor Ragnarok, a little bit better, where it tries to blend more of the fun moments and stuff like that in there. And there's going to be some interesting little swerves that come up and stuff like that. Again, I've read several versions of the script, so they're all consistent in a few ways. And usually from the sources that I get them from, they are pretty consistent. You can find them out there. So I'm looking forward to it. I already have a 9-year-old who is wanting to take her immediately, so that's a first night kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see the Marvels. Across the Spider-Verse is one of my most anticipated films of the year.
I just don't consider it Marvel.
What?
Across the Spider-Verse?
It's Sony.
It's Sony.
That's fine.
That's why I say Guardians will be the only good Marvel box office hit for Marvel
the MCU.
This year. Yeah.
Because it's not an MCU. I'm so looking forward to Across the Spider-Verse too. That and Barbie. Yeah. Those are the two that I'm like, I need to see these. I'm gonna go to opening night for Barbie.
You go and report back for us on that one. You believe that there is you believe that there is going to be such like social content and all this kind of stuff in it, and I want to be like, it's probably just going to be a stupid movie, and people are going to get paid for it, and it's going to be fine. Like they can make movies like that. It's okay.
No, they can. I don't think that's what they're doing. I think it's going to be clever. And again, I'm very curious. I love Simu Liu. Chat, you were talking about Shang-Chi. He was great in Shang-Chi. I want to see him as Asian Ken. That's going to be good. The Tetris biopic, that's on Apple TV Plus. I've been meaning to catch that.
Yeah. And the fact that they haven't said that they aren't using that song, I don't believe that at all. I think it's going to be in the
that
credits.
Song will be in the film somewhere.
It will be in the film somewhere. It's in enough of the marketing where my 9-year-old who pays attention to these things is singing that song every once in a while or singing parts of it in relation to the movie. I think it'll get used. I mean, come on, why not? Like, why not? At least give Aqua a couple of bucks for the use of the song. Come on, man.
Apparently, the Kraven the Hunter movie from Sony is going to be a hard R. The footage from CinemaCon, apparently they showed some footage at CinemaCon, and apparently it's violent as fuck.
I don't care. I don't know who Kraven the Hunter is. Like,
he was a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't care. It's like the Vulture in Spider-Man. And Michael Keaton played that one.
I like Michael Keaton as a Vulture. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, it's Kraven the Hunter kind of feels like a Morpheus type movie.
Morbius, yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Sony's got they've got a 50-50 track record. Venom was good. Tom Hardy's great as Venom. Yeah. Venom was great. Morbius was a dumpster fire.
And I've seen it 6 times on flights.
It is. Sony, you got a 50-50 with these villains as main character movies.
Right?
I think I was talking to Taylor about this earlier today on the other stream. Rated R comic book movies have a good track record.
They can.
I'm saying, just think about most of the rated R comic. Blade.
Morbius. Yeah.
Blade was good. Deadpool. I'm going to give them their rated R comic book movies.
Joe.
Logan. It's Morbin time. I don't know what.
No.
I haven't seen the movie. I just saw how bad it was, and I was like, no.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
I still haven't gotten around to seeing the D&D movie. At this point, I'm waiting for it to come to Paramount Plus, which I think will be any day now, considering its box office is in the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if they've gone up.
No, they haven't.
Let's
Where
see,
you can't leave the theater. Yeah.
Whew. All right. Let's. Well, no. Back to box office mojo.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I have seen it. I have seen it 6 times on a plane, Alan.
It actually didn't do the worst this last weekend. Global. Oh wow. It's only at 179 million globally.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Chat's still saying that Honor Among Thieves is worth watching. I don't know.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Again, most of the people and people I trust and reviewers I trust say it's a good, fun movie. I hadn't gotten around to it. I was going to go to the early screening and life happened. I'm kind of regretting not going to the early screening because then at least I would have had it out of the way. Again, everybody I've talked to has said it's fine, it's a good romp. I'm more like how bad this box office is.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah, they're going to lose 180 million on this.
If you're new to the show and you haven't if you've never seen it
Get Crazy Stone and go see it together.
That's an idea.
If I only could.
It's one of those things where and we've talked about this. They don't know what kind of movie they wanted to make. But once you get down and sit into it, the best argument I have seen to go watch it was that it feels like a D&D campaign where the characters don't have as much the characters are sort of improvising on the fly, much like they would around a table, and that's kind of the tropes that are in it where they spend 20 minutes plotting how to get across this bridge, and then the first step they trigger the trap and it all goes to hell, which is like a standard D&D kind of thing, right? So do you watch the first D&D movie and then watch the second one? Yes. Damon Wayans or nothing. The fact that he didn't get a cameo in this one, it kills me. I'm just saying. The fact that he doesn't know that, it kills me.
It's been out for 4 weeks. WB's pretty committed to a 6-week. Oh no, Paramount. Paramount's pretty committed to a 6-week streaming thing. So I imagine we'll see the D&D movie hit streaming somewhere around the end of May.
Yeah.
And so I will watch it when it comes to streaming. Actually, my daughter wants to see it. She's like, Dad, I want to see the D&D movie. I'm like, really? Why?
Yeah, Bass trying to act out of the roles. I mean, I think that would have been a better, more well-received. Right?
See, I was worried they were going to do that, and I think that would have been a bad idea. Don't even mention that David Wayne's abortion.
Jesus.
Oh, come on.
All
it's
right.
campy fun now. All right.
On that note.
Is it that time?
It's that time. Thank you all for watching across both Twitch and YouTube tonight. Joining into the chat and having some fun with us and all like that. If you would like to support us, we are actually the creators of Identico. For those of you that are joining us on YouTube for the first time, you found our channel somehow. Thank you. You're amazing.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you. We write a game. It's called Identico. Go to playidentico.com and check it out. That's play, IDENTECE, Identico.com. I just fumbled that one. You can also look us up on DriveThruRPG. That is where you will find our latest adventure called The Good Doctor. It is available in both digital and print. Soon enough, we will be making some announcements on some new conventions that we will be at this year. So hang tight on that. The print is very nice, actually. I do like it. We do have a couple of other things that are coming to support the game as well. Don't forget, the rules update to the core rulebook is free. It is available on DriveThruRPG, or there's a link on our website at playidentico.com. If you have subs and you're on Twitch, go ahead and drop us a Twitch Prime. We appreciate it. Thank you so much to VT and Tip for your resubs tonight. Y'all have been here for 29 and 28 months. This is insane. Thank y'all so much that we've been doing it for this long, too. We started over the pandemic streaming Angel City Stories, which you can watch on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Identico. You can also watch all the replays of Chaos Incorporated, our current actual play that just actually ran last night. That video will be coming up later this week and into this weekend. So go check all of that out. And I think that is all of the announcements we have at the moment, because the other things we're not ready to announce yet. So we'll be back. I will not be here next week. If you were in Minneapolis or and around that way, I will be there speaking at Confab 2023. So I will see you all there. Alex may or may not be back next week, depending on his schedule. We'll keep a track on our socials. So everywhere at Identico or at Humanoid Games. Just keep a track on that. We'll let you know.
I love coming on the show and yelling.
He does yelling.
This is the show where I get to be saltier and spicier, because it's the nighttime show, and it's also the Identico one. So the style of brand is different here. We're allowed to be a little more critical than I am on my other show. But if you want to watch us, so follow us there too.
Yes.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. We need more subs.
Yeah, we need 6 followers here on Twitch, and we need a lot more subs on YouTube. So if you haven't, drop us a sub on YouTube. Every time that you do that, it gets us up a little higher in the algorithm. That means we can actually show some of our how-to content, which is all new content. There's more how-to content coming up soon that I'm writing currently right now, alongside 2 new adventures that are coming out this year that we promised you a little while back. So we gave you a bonus adventure with the Good Doctor. We got more coming out this year. It's gonna be so much fun. We got a lot of stuff coming for you. Until next time, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Drink your water, take your vitamins, and as always, stay weird. We will see you a little bit later.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.